our Elder for Faithful Mission.
Hi everybody, Natasha Grimes, Chair of Faithful Mission. Jennifer is out today, so she asked me to give this announcement. First, we're going to have the pageant on December 15th. Anyone who wants to participate, we have forms outside, so please fill them. The rehearsal is going to be December 14th. Another thing is the children are invited to go to Hebrew House to sing with the choir. We're going to have crafts that they're going to start on decorating night and they're going to finish on December 1st. So anyone whose kids are interested in going to Hebrew House, please let us know. Thank you.
I invite you to join with me for our call to worship. Today we celebrate Thanksgiving and gratitude, and I do want to bring to your attention our preparation for worship, lovingly compiled by Phyllis Wendell, which came from our celebrating singers. For worship we gather, for praise to God, beloved.
It is not out of duty, but out of gratitude that we celebrate your goodness to us, dear God.
Your providential care, your prevenient grace, and your partnership in covenant draw us closer to you.
As we draw nearer to you, we are drawn nearer to each other in gratitude. And then together we remember all your children who seek freedom. We remember all your children who cry out in pain and shock and fear.
Pour out your Spirit on all who worship you and yearn to worship all across the world. Come, Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Please join me in the prayer of hope. We want to change. We want to change. Fear and division exhaust us. Make us instruments of gratitude that we might discover ways of mercy and love that lead to peace.
May it be so, for the sake of healing our own hearts and healing the world. Amen.
Oh, that's a big block. I give thanks. I give thanks that I can still get down there with you. Now I want to bring it up. Many years ago, I realized that it would be helpful for me to volunteer somewhere so I would understand what it is for you to volunteer here in our committees and our council, what it is for you to give your time and talents. So for years you heard me preaching about serving on the Historic Preservation Commission of Frederick, and now I'll tell you that I moved away so I can't any longer. So now I serve on the board of the Frederick County Landmarks Foundation. The nonprofit operates the Schifferstadt Architectural Museum. The Germanic House was built in 1758 and was recently made in 2016 a National Historic Landmark. Recently, a few of the board members have been commenting, concerned. We need to have tangible benefits to compensate for our $25 member dues. $25. And they're worried that the members get something for it. I'm so glad you guys don't expect anything from us for your gifts of love and philanthropy and discipleship. We already give a 10% member discount in the gift shop, but they want us to give something else. The question is, why would anyone want to give if they're not getting something back? It's quid pro quo thinking. I'll give you this as long as you give me that. I didn't like the idea that we would need to come up with $10 worth of value for a $25 donation. In Diana Butler Bass's most recent book, entitled Gratitude, she tells the destructive history of the quid pro quo, while heralding a new way of gift giving and grace receiving. A new way of gratitude that is rooted in Jesus' teachings. Rather than, I give, you give back, she promotes non-reciprocal giving. As you get a gift, appreciate it. Give thanks for it. Maybe keep it. Use it. Or maybe enjoy, give it away. Or enjoy, give away something else. But not to the original gift giver. Pass it on to someone else. I'm reminded of Jesus' water to wine motif, and I'm reminded of Jesus' command to the disciples, you go feed the 5,000. Don't send them out to buy their own food. You feed them. And are reminded of Jesus' healing stories. Go back, remember, they're all free of quid pro quo dealings. He gives freedom. 1 Thessalonians teaches, rejoice always, pray constantly, and give thanks for everything. It's hard for us to do. It's especially hard for us to do. Near impossible to give thanks for gifts that are freighted and weighted down with strings, with debt, with expectations of payment. I gave you this because I love you. Well, I really want you to tell me you love me. That's the string. So back to Landmarks, I will advocate that Landmarks keeps giving the 10% discount, but jettison their worries about what the donor gets in return. Instead of calling them dues, think about the word due. It's a word that vibrates with you owe us. Maybe we'll call them gifts. I call them pledges, but that's been used elsewhere. Maybe there on that board I'll encourage them to cultivate philanthropy, saying things like, to the community of Frederick and all those people who come, folk of Frederick, history buffs, German descendants, join our mission by helping us take care of this really old building and help us to teach people about our nation's history through it. Give us your gift. And what you get in return is being a part of that mission. And 10% in the gift shop. Anti-quid pro quo thinking vibrates within our scriptures, vibrates within Jesus' teachings. Think about it. Quid pro quo. Systems of quid pro quo are cancerous, invasive, hard to root out, pyramid-shaped power structures. All unpacked in Diana Butler Bass's book. How many of you played King of the Mountain as children? How many of you stayed on top? So you remember the game? It's a roughhousing, somewhat brutal game where children try to ascend a dirt mound or a hay bale mound or a mulch mound, and the object is to push everyone else off until only one of you stays powerfully on top. It's like a pyramid system. It's a pervasive system. Mr. Potter of It's a Wonderful Life, the pre-Ghost Ebenezer Scrooge, Voldemort, Lion King's Scar, almost all of Disney's cartoon villains climb for power using a form of a quid pro quo system. History names it many names. It's named a Pharaoh system, imperialism, feudal, Caesar, Trump's system, President Trump's old reality show, The Apprentice, operated steeped in the feudal system of debts and dues and owing. If the contestants pleased him, they could stay. If not, you're fired. That's a quid pro quo system. We've heard these weeks of how President Trump's foreign policy is steeped in the Caesar system. Should we forgive him for being embedded in a Caesar system? Our culture is ripe within a Caesar system. Our economies work on quid pro quos. Remember the story of how he demanded fealty from his cabinet like he was the king? Even though our society is steeped in Caesar mentalities where power is in the hand of a few, or in the hands of a few, at our core, as Americans, and even more so at our core as faithful people, we are inspired. We prefer the Jesus on a donkey story. We prefer the democratic vision, anti-monarchical freedom stories, power to the people stories, power to all the people stories. Diana Butler Bass, you might wonder, why is Zacchaeus in this scripture today? Well, Diana Butler Bass unpacks a brilliant interpretation of the wee little Zacchaeus story. She teaches that Zacchaeus isn't that spiritually hungry man who was just too short to see Jesus. That spiritually hungry man who couldn't see Jesus over the crowd and therefore scurried up a tree to see. A man wanting spiritual benefits. Instead, she points out that, Zacchaeus was a mid-rank political and economic abuser in the Roman Empire's Caesar system. In the Caesar system, Caesar was called Almighty Lord and Savior. Caesar was the mighty owner of all things, the provider of all things, the patron of all people. From the top of the hill, Caesar would share some of that power with a few, but only if they followed Caesar. And those few would share a little bit of that power with a few more, but only if they followed Caesar. And the pyramid trickles down to the bottom layer, which are all the rest of us, all the rest of the people. Mostly in that time period, those who have been captivated, made captives. At the Caesar system's core was a false narrative. It said that Caesar was God, and that Caesar gives you everything, the water and the air and the food and the safety. And that in return for those gifts, they're not free gifts. In the Caesar system, in return for those gifts, you are indebted, obligated to give back. And any ingrate would be punished. Caesar said, I will take care of you. I will. I will take care of you. I will make sure you have food to eat. And in return for my gift of the food on your table that you actually grew yourself, you must send to me up my pyramid the lion's share of your produce. And Caesar said through taxes and tax collectors and soldiers, I will make sure you're safe, safe from enemy invaders. And in return, you will gratefully send me your resources of grain and livestock to feed my armies. And you will gratefully give your gold to fund the armies. And as grateful children, you will send me your children to serve my army. And maybe die to keep me safe. That's for me keeping you safe. The Caesar narrative said, I will ensure you live a life of dignity in the position you are in. Within that system, you can't change positions. There is no climbing the ladder. I'll ensure you have dignity there. And in return, I expect every aspect of your being to be appreciative and available to me. Zacchaeus was a Jew. A strategy of the Roman Empire, a strategy to maintain their power over captured nations, was to employ the locals to do their grunt work. To become a tax collector, the local had to buy the position like at an auction. It wasn't free to give it. You had to buy it. So I imagine for Zacchaeus to get to this privileged place in his community, he saved and scrimped and borrowed, maybe stole the resources to buy the position. How many people did he toss off the hill on his climb? Butler Bass imagines that Zacchaeus' motivation for climbing the tree had nothing to do with seeing Jesus, seeing him out of some hopeful curiosity. He was worried about this man, this rabbi, who said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's and to God what is God's. The deep monotheistic faith of the children of Abraham contradicted entirely the premise of the Caesar system. For the Jew, the unnamed God, the one God, the creator of all things, was the only giver of life. From God came rain gift and sun gift and flour and wheat and lamb and child, beauty, love, joy. all those gifts. No human idol could usurp God's benevolence. Zacchaeus feared Jesus' revolutionary message. He climbed up the tree to see if Jesus would undermine his authority, and I imagine he climbed up that tree to see how fast he needed to pack his bags. Butler Bass preached. Zacchaeus thought that gratitude was a political structure of benefactors and beneficiaries that he could manipulate for his own benefit. Then Jesus called him down from that tree and invited him to a table. Stop climbing, Zacchaeus. Come and sit. Whereas Rome practiced gratitude as a hierarchy of political and economic obligation, of debt and duty, Jesus envisioned gratitude as hospitality, of mutuality and relation, and meet as friends, where forgiveness is practiced and gratitude expresses itself not in debt payment, but in passing on generous gifts to others. Close quote. The Jews' question at Landmark got me pondering. Diana Butler Bass got me thinking. In what ways am I captured by a quid pro quo system? In what ways do I promote that quid pro quo system? I thought about Christmas cards. I'm lazy about Christmas cards. I'll blame it on my handwriting. It's too hard. And keeping addresses straight is too tedious. I'd like to say that I gave up Christmas cards years ago and enjoy when Anthony does it for us. But I gave it up because it kind of smells like quid pro quo a bit sometimes. How many people have been dropped off your Christmas card list because they don't send you Christmas cards? Yeah. What about a dinner party, if you still do that old antiquated thing like calling friends over for dinner? You have a great time with that